welcome again to another episode of the Devatop podcast. Today on this show, we're going to be talking about a really important topic that is affecting us here in Nigeria at the moment. My name remains Jennifer Kweze, and I'm here with my colleague. We'll be talking about the incessant kidnapping that is happening in our country at this period. This year alone, we've had a high number of kidnapping cases that I've heard in my whole life as a citizen in Nigeria. So today is going to be very insightful. Today is going to be very important. So sit right back and enjoy our topic for today. And today, my colleague is here today to introduce himself. So he will introduce himself and we'll get right into the topic of today. So you're welcome to our podcast today. So welcome. He is our ICT assistant and he'll introduce himself.
Thank you very much for having me here, Jennifer. It's a privilege. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
My name is Israel Nkade. I'm the ICT assistant, but I'm also a techpreneur, a digital literacy advocate, and a human rights advocate also.
Talk about good credits to your name. You're welcome, Israel again. So at the beginning of the podcast, I said we'll be talking about something that has been affecting us since the beginning of this year. How we've been going on and on about the case of banditry, the case of kidnapping, and very recently the case of child kidnapping or children kidnapping in Oyo State. We are still praying for their safe return. We are still hoping the government to help us rescue these children. And really brings me to my first question. And it seems like we are hearing about this kidnapping all over and all over again. What do you think is the way forward now for children? How is this affecting the children growing up in Nigeria now? Because recently I've been hearing a lot about parents not wanting their children to go to school in these rural areas. They don't want their children to get kidnapped. I was even discussing with you. I saw a video where a father was tying juju on his son's hand just for protection to go to school. And you see this, and the child was just maybe like 3 years, 4 years, and they're exposed to this type of things already. This was not what we were growing up with. So in what way does this affect children now growing up in this period now in Nigeria? What do you think? How does it affect them?
I think the field has changed, right?
Yeah.
And Nigeria it's becoming, I don't want to say the word, it's becoming far different than we expected it to be. I had high hopes, and every one of us still have high hopes. For children, I think the first thing is safety, right? We can't change that. And as parents, we should keep emphasizing on safety, right? Safety, it is when you are safe that you can begin the process of education. It's when you can learn. But as that example that you mentioned is a pretty good example, parents should ensure that their children are first of all safe. And in the digital world, I would emphasize safety as a priority. So firstly, prioritize safety. Secondly, I would say that let us build ourselves as a community, right? You know, previously when Nigeria was way back in the 19th century, your neighbor's neighbor can monitor your child. So I think we need to be our brother's keeper, more of our brother's keeper. If you see something, hear something. If you see something, say something, right? Watch out for the kids in your community. You see them going, you see suspicious movements, you see something, things like that happening in the area, speak up. Things like that don't just happen all of a sudden. They take days to prepare for attacks like that and incidents like that.
Yes.
But if we can, as a community,
be aware, be alert, make sure that things in your community, people in your community, you know, oh, this face is not familiar. Let us know, Mama Ikechi, I saw this face in this community and it was not a familiar face. Do you understand? So, like you said, being a brother keeper is very important. It's very, very important. And especially children, let us advise them on areas that they go to, especially when you are not familiar with a particular place. Don't go out at night. No been kidnapped by bandits. I saw a video also online where children were running on the road that kidnappers are around, they're trying to, a good Samaritan had to help them on his truck, and then that was how they were able to leave that particular place. So there's a lot of fear in the air right now, and we should all be safe, like I said.
Before can I add this lastly? I think we need to address the issue of fear, because fear creates panic, and panic creates wrong decisions.
Yes.
So while we are trying to educate our children to be cautious and to be careful in the environment, we should also be careful not to traumatize them with fear. We know that there is a danger, right? But we should also ensure that we keep that side of them that's both open, intelligent, and is not afraid of danger, but is able to respond to different circumstances, regardless of the danger there. So that place of fear, because a child growing up with fear is very disastrous and it can be traumatizing. So I think that would also help.
Yeah. So when a child cannot go to school, play freely, or even feel safe in their communities because of fear again, we still talk about fear. Do we think we are failing them as a society?
Yes. I think first of all, the government or the people in leadership reflect the society. So if we get it as a community, there's little to few things the government would necessarily need to do. I was in a team of people in my CDS, and I saw that there was a lot of problems in the CDS, and I just said, let me work with my team first of all, my EXCOs, and addressing that little society of EXCOs, we were able to address the issue with the entire CDS. So I think as a society, if we take it as a we take that precept before government, we take, not that we step in with violence, but we take cautious measures to ensure that our community is kept safe, then that could go a long way. Although we know that for the society to be as it is, for our children not to be safe, we've already failed, right? And it's not just a you decision, it's not just you, it is each and every one of us, because the society grows not just because I play my part, because you also play your part.
So definitely, these forms of kidnapping, this incessant kidnapping affects child and their rights. We are not even supposed to be talking about, in the first place, children being kidnapped. How are they surviving over there? Now, I'm not talking about adults, I'm talking about children under the age of 3. We have, I think there was a list that came out with the ages of these children, their names, and we could see children who are 2 years, 4 years. We even had a mother who was backing her little one and begging the government to at least come to their aid. It's a lot. And this not only affects their rights, this also affects them growing up. This also affects relating with people, growing up and having these flashbacks, having all of this. This definitely affects their children. And I want to just know, what do you think? Apart from emotional traumas, apart from physical traumas, do you think there are some emotional traumas that the children might face when they come out of this situation? Because definitely they will have emotional traumas, both physical, and they won't even, some of them won't even want to come out to speak. Some of them might even start having speech problems because they just want to be quiet. We watch that in the movies, maybe now they're actually seeing it in our reality. They're actually seeing it. It's coming to reality. We see it in the movies where they put a gun to your head and all of a sudden you just go mute. But now we see children who are going through this. This is, I think, day 18 or day 19 now that we're counting. And we've seen a lot of teachers going out to the streets to protest. But then again, these children's rights have been violated. It has been really violated. So what do you think are some of these emotional challenges that these children might face when they come out of this situation? Because they can, physical challenge, physical trauma is, they won't only face physical trauma but also emotional trauma. I just want to know, what do you think emotional trauma they might face when you come out of this?
I think the average Nigerian has trauma to go through, right? That's the average Nigerian regardless of insecurity. That is on an average. Now, coming into the aspect of insecurity and even surviving, there are those that don't survive those kind of incidents, right? And the issue of kidnapping we are here now, this is just the popular ones. This is just the ones that were able to make headlines. What of the ones that don't, right? Several ones that go undocumented and unnoticed. So emotion-wise, incidents like that can be totally traumatizing. What I would advise is, first of all, they need a safe space. They need a safe space. It will take time, it will take process, it will take someone to work with them to recover from incidents like that, but it's possible to recover from it, right? But they first need a safe space. Recovering from that kind of incident, the first thing they need is a safe space. A place they can come, a place they can reflect, a place, a community that accepts them back. And in Nigeria, the first place they can easily find that is family. It's in their home. And that is it. Not just the parents, but the community being able to accept them back. And I feel if you talk about silence, most of those occasions forces the individual to withdraw themselves.
Because you have children, guns are faced, pointed at their faces.
And you've seen their colleagues die. Like, something like that, you can't just forget about it.
Even you as an adult, if you face that kind of challenge or that kind of situation, you won't even know. Normal, okay, a robber points a gun at you to give you their properties or something. You're already in fear, you're running and thinking, oh, what is my next line of action? Imagine children that don't even know what is wrong or right, having to face such a situation. Like, my heart is shattered. My heart is really shattered. I've been praying, I've been asking God to just help. If it's the government, let the government do their part to make sure that these children come back safely. We're not even talking about the children, the teachers. You have people who just want to go have the passion for teaching children and then they're kidnapped in their schools. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. And my heart goes out to every parent, every family member that their child or wife or sister has been abducted by these bandits. And we hope and pray that they come back safe and sound without any harm to their bodies or to themselves. And a lot of people feel helpless when stories like this come up. Like I said, we keep talking about fear. A lot of parents don't want their kids to go to school anymore. As ordinary citizens, what can we do to help protect children and just keep our community safe? I know you mentioned it in the first part of when you started speaking, but we can't emphasize it enough.
Yes.
How do we protect ourselves from being victims of this banditry? Do you understand? I know we must not even go out for them to meet you. Some of these bandits, they come to your home, break in and take people away. We've seen a lot of that in the news.
Yes.
It's just that it has not made headlines. People are not talking about it. But right now that this affects children, it's a lot. I mean, we have mothers, we have fathers who their children as low as 2 years old and they're out in the cold, out in the sun. Mosquito bites are everywhere and then...
I saw a picture of one of the children. His stone was placed on his back and then they tied him.
You can imagine.
It's really...
We really cannot tell what the children are going to. How are they feeding? How are they sleeping? How are they moving? Because I hear they don't stay one place. They move from...
Exactly. So that they will not be able to find them.
It's a lot. All we can do is just hope and pray. All we can do is just hope and pray. So that's my question. How do you think we as citizens, as ordinary citizens, can just help protect children in our communities? Because if I see a child in my community now that is, where are you going to? Are you sure you know where you are going to? Go back home. Don't run. Because almost fear is in everybody's heart. So in what way can we help protect children in our society?
That's it. I would say it's a big question, but I'll break it down into little pieces of simple things we can do. The first thing we can do as a society, right, is to bring back that spirit of oneness, like I mentioned earlier. We have have to be awareness. It starts from there, right? And when I say that, I mean what affects one affects all. Not just because it's at that other street, it doesn't affect me, therefore I'm just quiet. No, you take it upon yourself that this incident happened here. I want to first of all be informed. I want to know how I can assist and how I can prevent something like this from taking place in my community. Now, there are certain individuals too who are not connected with their communities, and it is very wrong. Wherever you stay, in whatever community you find yourself, you should be connected with your community. Know your neighbors, know those around you, know your traditional head, know the rulers around you, know the community heads. It is societies like that are united, that are able to easily combat things like that. And then the second thing is digital literacy. I cannot emphasize that enough, because you being able to master how to make use of the technology space, to be able to stay aware, to be able to know how to report to the authorities, how to contact them, and to be able to know how to things like that. So you need to be digitally literate in this age to be able to combat that. And there are several technologies and several tools you could use. One of the tools you could use is all these SOS app that connect you directly with security operatives and several platforms like that. Aside from that, there are security risks, things like having a coffee for your children, right? As a community deciding, okay, this is when and when we want our children to be out. It might not be implementable in all societies, but having that in the community, okay, that when we see a child out by this time, we ask questions like, okay, what are you doing outside at this particular time? And then we hold the government accountable. We constantly remind the government, we constantly bring it to their notice. And one thing that I love right now, although it's not yet reached the pinnacle, is that everyone is constantly putting the image of those children on their social media platforms. And we keep shaking.
We don't want another wave of chibok girls, because I know we had the conversation and we're talking about how these kids, we don't even know, most of them, I know there are some that came back during a certain period of time, but some of them are still there.
Yes.
Some eventually got married, got pregnant for these people that...
Some who went back to meet some of those people, because they would have children with them.
Definitely.
How would they like?
Definitely.
Imagine spending 1 or 2 years with them, 3 years. How many years of your life is that?
You would already adapt to that way of life, and we don't want another wave of children.
Don't.
Bring back our children. That should be our hashtag. That should be cited everywhere, so that the government knows that we are not sleeping, and they should not sleep also. So those children are back, to those teachers are back to their families. Because I think I saw a video where the state governor went to the community to address his people, and the wife of the teacher, the principal, was kneeling down and begging that his wife be back in safe hands. So you can imagine the trauma even the family members are going through. Even the family members.
So just put yourself in their shoes.
In their shoes.
Yes.
All we have to just do is pray and seek, plead that the government does their part to make sure that these people are back to their families. Because I mean, you talked about digital literacy, but then again, bandits are the ones using this internet more than we are even using it.
So if they are using it, we also have to find a way to make use of that technology. If they are digitally literate, it means you too, you have to be more.
It's very surprising how they easily just come online to show off the last songs they have gotten, animations that how did we get to this point? How did we get to this point where bandits, people, they've grown so confident to the extent that they can flaunt the money that...
Not being afraid of being tracked or located or being recognized. Well, can they not, asking questions like that, can they not be tracked? Can't you locate this person? As a complaint engineer, I know that through those systems you can track them, you can locate them. And their technologies, it's not like Nigeria doesn't have these technologies, but going into that is really deep. I feel we are to bring the government's attention to it, but our focus here is what can we do? What can we start doing now? What can we do to ensure those children are back? To ensure that they are back with their family? And our emphasis is on push it out. Keep letting the government know. Keep raising community awareness. And if you see any child being abused around you, don't keep quiet. Don't stay silent. Don't say it doesn't concern you. If you see things happening, going wrong around you, you know, there was something that took place in Lagos, and some children were just being like pushed into the vehicle, and the driver wanted to start speeding, and the people around there just looked. After they looked, they just put their eyes away and continued doing what they were doing. And this actually happened. So that kind of incident, like when my colleague told me, I was wondering why would, like, whenever you see something like that, everyone, and I've seen something like that happen previously in Ibadan, when I was still in Ibadan, and all the bikers, all the drivers were pursuing that vehicle. So that is how the community should respond, as if it is happening to you. I think if we start from here to reach the government, and then if we change that mindset, if we improve on that mindset, right, it will reach the government level, because it is the people that are elected into those positions.
So, looking at what has happened in Oyo, we have thoughts, and not just Oyo, I think we've had news, I think in Kwara State,
yes,
also that children, people...
And several in Ghana.
Several. This is not just happening in Oyo State. What lessons should parents, guardians, children take from this? Showing the government, we too, as we're talking here, what should we be able to, what lesson do you learn from this? Because I know there might not be a lot of lessons to learn, but I mean, we should all be safe out there. We should all be safe out there. And I just want to hear your last words. What message do you want to give out to children, to parents, and to the government at large, hearing us today, watching this video, and anytime we'll be watching it, what message you want to pass across to them? Because this is a cry for help, this is a plea to the government that they should really look into bringing these children back. Not just them, a lot of people who have been kidnapped, who are not yet with their families, don't even know about them. They should put in as much effort as they are putting into anything at all, just to make sure that these children are back to their families. So, what will be your last words to the government, to parents, to children? Just to...
I think you mentioned lessons. So I think one of the first lessons is that the proverb that says it takes a community to raise a child has never been more true than now. It takes a community, it takes a people for any one of us to grow. My final word is just build yourself first. Build yourself first and work with your community to develop your community. Because it is in relating with each other that we're able to know, okay, this is the right thing to do. We are meant to keep our children safe. We are meant to follow up on them. It is through our community we're able to hear our voices and follow up with it. It is in our communities the solution starts. So every solution begins from the family, it expands to the community, and then from there it expands to the society. So I will say be connected to your society, and please do not be silent. For everything that affects those around you, take it as it affects you, right? And be proactive. Be proactive. When incidents like this happen, or you suspect something like that, imagine if when that kidnapping was about to take place, somebody had seen their vehicle driving from miles away, and somebody just made a call to those that were in the community that I saw this vehicle and they're driving towards
it. It actually happens. I've seen a couple of videos where bandits want to enter a community and all the community members are alive. Everybody is with their weapon and they come out in masses to make sure that, oh, these people did not penetrate our community, because enough is actually enough. Enough is enough. We cannot overemphasize that. Enough is enough. We've had a lot of, our farmers cannot go to their farms anymore. Children cannot go to school. We are scared of going out. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. And my final words will just be prayers to console all the families that their children or husbands or sisters have been affected by this kidnappings and all of that. So we we pray that your family members, your children come back to you safely and sound without any harm affecting them. In Jesus' name, amen. So we've come to the end of today's episode of the Devatop podcast. We will be coming up with various other topics. So stay put, stay tuned, and goodbye friends from now.